So my stepson came home on Halloween, and they was having a huge party in the hood. Just for like a family event. Everybody's getting together and hanging out on Halloween. But it's also mainly like a coming home party for him. Because he just did like 14 months. And that was one of my greatest pains is watching, not watching, because I was still incarcerated. Before I even came home, while I was still at work release, he ended up going to prison on a 14-month sentence. So I came home before he did. So I came home October 3rd. He got out October 31st. So obviously I was excited to see him. I was excited for his restart. I was excited to see him come home. So I was out there in the hood, on the Halloween party, the family event, and I was able to be there his first day out and just rebuild and reconnect with him. Give my dog, a fresh fit and just shoot him some cash and just be there for him. And we was just building, laughing, clowning, able to love on him and pray with him. But obviously, I was just concerned with his mindset and, what he was planning on doing now that he's back out and just coming home from prison, because I know he's young, he's only 19, and I know the temptation of the streets, man. Well, he's 20 now. I know the temptation of the streets to get back out here and to get that bag. And I could just already tell with just his demeanor and his vibe that, he wasn't done with the streets. He still wanted to take his shot and run it up. So that's been a big concern for me since he's been home, is him being, trapped in that lifestyle. And I'm just praying that God shield him and protect him, because I don't want to see him go back to prison. I don't want to see him do what I did, and that stole my life away in the chain gang. So I'm always calling him. I'm always trying to reach out to him and just pour into him. I want to pick him up and take him with me to the studio and take him with me to church and just vibe with him. But honestly, a lot of the times he ignores my calls. He'll call me from time to time and we'll talk. And I know he's just doing it just to like remind me and show me love. Like, yo, I love you, bro. Like, ain't no pressure. Even though he's not saying like, yo, ain't no pressure, I'm not ducking you. But I know that's what he's doing. Because a lot of times he won't pick up the phone. He's ripping and running, doing what he's doing. I'm sure he doesn't want to feel convicted or guilty. And I'm not always lecturing him and preaching to him, but of course I'm going to encourage him, and love and tell him the truth of what he needs to hear from time to time. So yeah, I just really want to be used by God, man, just to serve him and impact him and to be an example before him. Like, yo, like you a king, man. Like the hustle and ambition that God's given you, it's for the glory of God, man. It's the hustle for the kingdom. Not to be caught up in the streets, man, throwing your life away. So that's where I've been at with my stepson. Yeah, so out here in Tampa, bro, it's been beautiful. I obviously moved into this apartment complex and moved into this side of town with the intentional motive and approach, to make disciples in the streets, man, and watch God establish the vision of Block Hustle. So, Tampa's not my city, man. This ain't my hood. I don't barely know anybody out here besides, some of my dogs that cross over. So weekly what I do is like come out here, normally on Wednesdays, and I'll just walk the block, man. I'll just go in and throughout different apartment complexes, walk up and down, 15th, walk up and down different streets, and I evangelize. And I pull up on random people and I share my testimony, and most importantly, I share the gospel. So it's been beautiful to see what God's been doing in this community and the receptivity that I see from people, because I know the call of God upon my life and the vision that he's given me and the demographic that, God's called me to is the streets, to minister to dope boys and guys who are gangbanging and people who are out here in the trenches. So it's cool because this ain't my hood, and I walk right up in the middle of an apartment complex with a whole bunch of people out there selling dope, and all of them bang, and they're out there hanging, and none of them know me, and just with the authority of Christ, man, I walk up boldly, courageously. Hey, excuse me, man, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I can share something with y'all real quick, and I just share with them my testimony. I let them know where I come from, all the time I did in the chain gang, and ultimately how I used to give the streets my everything, and it did nothing but destroy me, and everybody who loved me and who was attached to me, now knowing the truth of existence, to live for Christ and to bang out for his kingdom and his righteousness, how much more now am I going harder for the kingdom? And I just remind them that God's created them as royalty, as kings and queens, and I just encourage them. Love on them. I pray with them. Pass out Bibles. One Body Church giving Block Hustle, which is the ministry and the vision God's establishing through me. A whole bunch of clothes, baby clothes, women's, men's, boys, girls, clothes, diapers, baby food. So when I evangelize, I take it with me, and I'll be passing stuff out to people who are in need, single mothers with a whole bunch of kids, some homeless people. Sometimes I don't even know who to go to or who to pull up on and give it to. So whenever I go back to like the Bellas, that's like the trenches, and whenever we chopping up with all the dope boys and vibing with them, and all of them know me by now. But like whenever I go in there and evangelize, like oh yo, I was popping the love. So like when I got stuff, I'm like, yo, who needs this? And I go pass it out. So man, I just praise God for the receptivity that God's placed upon my life. That not only people are listening to me when I come through, but most importantly, they're hearing the gospel. And I see what God's doing in their life, and God's stirring them up. They're taking Bibles and letting me pray with them. But most importantly, man, I'm just praying for salvation. I'm praying for revival in this community, and that God flip this place for His glory and for the furtherance of the kingdom of God. But also too, man, as I'm a part of the One Body Church leadership team, I've been blessed with the honor and the opportunity to oversee a new structure style event, because they have a whole bunch of events out here on the field. Even though they're doing a great labor and a great work out here, the majority of the people who they minister to is the kids, because the kids don't see that. The kids don't understand. They gravitate towards the field. They gravitate towards the events. So what I told them, I feel like God's gonna bless me with the opportunity, and how I can serve them and serve in their ministry is to help diversify, you know what I mean, the people that they're reaching. So I let them know, like, I think that we should, because they do events every month on the field, but all the kids are drawn to the events. I said I would like to structure another event and specifically try to reach the streets. You know, so praise be to God. You know, they're blessed with the opportunity to where now we can host an event every month. So it's going to be First Fridays. So the first Friday of every month, we're having a block party out on the field right here on 127. And it's, you know, One Body Church's field, who I'm laboring with. But they're blessed with the opportunity to create new culture and a new atmosphere at that time. And we're primarily trying to reach the streets. You know, everybody out there selling dope and gang bang, and it is more of the adult crowd. But I told them, yo, listen, like, no offense, but like, don't pull up to the event because the first day home at the block party, a lot of people even from Crossover Church, when they seen the One Body Church people out there, they're like, yo, like, where'd all these white people come from? And just to be honest, like, when I was in the streets, like, I honestly wouldn't gravitate towards a field with a big block party where there's a whole gang load of older white people. I wouldn't seem interested, you know what I mean, just because I wouldn't feel as if there's any connection or anything to be drawing me to that event. But if I seen a whole bunch of people who looked like me and who were young, you know what I mean, a diverse crowd, you know what I mean, with hip-hop music playing and some food, I'd probably be drawn to it. You know what I mean? But if it's a whole bunch of older white people, I wouldn't want to go. That looks lame. I want nothing to do with them people. So I told them, like, yo, the first event and the first couple months in, like, please, like, don't pull up. You know, maybe like one or two, but we need to create new culture. So that's the approach, and that's the intention of creating the First Fridays block parties. Is we're trying to create new culture. A whole bunch of people from Crossover Church. We have different artists lined up performing. After the performance, sharing a testimony. At the end of the event, the gospel is going to be presented, and all with the motive and the intention to not only proclaim the gospel, to see souls saved within the community, but to begin to build and establish genuine, authentic relationships within this community to make disciples, man. So I'm excited. I know God's going to use it. Crossover Church, obviously, One Body Church and Block Hustle, we're all partnering and co-laboring together. Crossover Church is printing out a whole bunch of flyers, so we're going to pass them out today at church, you know, to the people who can pass them out, but mainly we're going to be passing them out in and throughout the hood. Alright, so the music's been dope. I already got 21 songs laid in the studio, but the challenge is I wrote all of these songs, the majority of all of them, while I was still incarcerated. But in prison, you know, we got tablets with instrumentals, and even before the tablets came out, we had MP3s. So all throughout my years in prison, I would spend a lot of my money that I spent on myself. I would buy instrumentals. So all my songs are written to instrumentals. So I still got all those instrumentals, and a lot of them were written from YouTube. So I'm recording these songs over these YouTube instrumentals, or these different songs that I, you know, wrote while I was in prison. So I'm going to the studio, we converting instrumentals, and I'm recording over them. So now we have to go back and we have to re-record and recreate and produce new instrumentals to put the songs I've written over. So it's exciting. I'm loving the studio. Everyone kept telling me too, like, bro, wait till you go in a real studio. You're gonna see how you can take your creativity and take it to a whole nother level. And that's exactly what's been taking place, man. Just learning how to finesse the auto tune and the different pitches in my voice, man. It's beautiful how to, punch in, certain, bars so I get a faster cadence, man. All of it's been amazing. I love it, man. I love going to the studio, man. The vibe with Cliff Brown, with Max Foreman, Sean, everybody at 5-5 has been nothing but love. It's been dope. I love the chemistry. They understand my sound, my vision, my content. They're very supportive. And, man, most importantly, man, praise be to God because of his favor when it comes to finances for the project with the music, because I'm dropping 2 projects. I'm working on my album, which is my biggest project, but I'm also releasing a mixtape first. It's probably, I'm releasing my mixtape first. So, man, they're blessing me. I'm getting blessed when it comes to finances. They're paying for everything. They're really looking out. They understand my situation. And because they know the motivation, they know the intention to reach the streets with the gospel, they understand the vision, they're supportive, and they're blessing me when it comes to just showing me love when it comes to financial side. So the studio has been great. But also, too, man, it's kind of been stressful just because I'm trying to get my music out there, man. But I understand, like the studio is busy, I'm booking my time. But just the recreation of the instrumentals, and I'm trying to strategize and the first video shoot. So it's kind of stressful at the same time because I got a certain timeline. I want to drop my first single and have the music video done, and I'm pushing it close. So at times that can be stressful. But I almost forgot to say the biggest thing. One of my favorite artists, hands down, my favorite artist in CHH, hands down, Reconcile. And it's funny because like now that I'm pursuing like a career in the industry, and I know God's gonna establish it. Of course, I'll tell him that one day, but that's not how you're gonna lead with that conversation. You know what I mean? Ain't gonna be like no fanboy, like, oh my God, Reconcile, you're my favorite artist. But listen, man, God has used Reconcile mightily in my life all throughout the years in prison to pour into me, man, to disciple me through his music. And he's been a huge influence musically and artistically, and this is a man of God in my life. And I've always said while I was in the chain gang to all my dogs, I said, watch. I remember when Streets Don't Love You 3 had dropped. It was right before I was about to come home. And I remember I listened to the album, no cap, bro, I cried listening to the album, bro. And I was telling my dog when I left out the dorm, I said, bro, you ain't heard album yet? You ain't heard Reconcile's album yet? He said, no, I ain't get it yet. I said, bro, gas, you got to get it, bro. I said, bro, oh God, I was crying, bro. That thing touched me. And I remember telling my dog that day, I said, bro, when I go home, watch, I guarantee you I'm finna do a couple songs with Rec. I guarantee you. And obviously praying about it, you know what I mean, standing firm in faith. Man, guess who's gonna be on my first single, bro? Reconcile, man. So nothing but the hand of God. Because even that whole situation, man, I was able to connect with Reconcile on Christmas Day while I was at work release. I was looking at all his videos, and all his videos was gas. And I reached out to him. I didn't even know it was Christmas because, like, in the chain gang, like, you don't pay attention. Obviously, you know, like, which holidays are, but they're no big deals to you. So it just happened to be a Christmas while I was at work release. And I literally forgot it was Christmas because I wouldn't have sent him no DM on Christmas. I'm just laying on my bunk on my phone going through IG, and I'm looking at his videos. I'm like, you know what? I'm set up a prayer, and I shot him a DM. I told him who I was, what God was doing in my life, the vision that God gave me for release about, you know, doing a documentary as well as music and everything. I said, yo, whoever does your film, who does it, so I can reach out to him. And that's when he linked me with my dog, D's Productions. So that was how I first, you know, contacted Rec, and he started following me after that. And, you know, he would like my stuff occasionally. But over time, as me and D's continued to get closer, and Rec was hearing about me more, and then I reached out to Rec for a feature for my first single, and he said yeah. And not only did he say yeah, but his verse was fire, and the song's gonna be gas. So the song's not even done yet. My verse is done, his verse is done, the hook's done. We just gotta put them together with the recreated instrumental. We gotta shoot the video and drop it. So I'm excited. I believe that God's gonna use that first single to establish the platform and the vision that He's birthed within me for the glory of God, man, for the furtherance of the kingdom. So I'm excited. I'm definitely excited with the music, man. So One Body Church has been blessing Block Hustle and the street team, and this is just some of the stuff they've been donating. These are obviously diapers, and all these are just, I think, miscellaneous, like home goods and items, whole bunch of socks, and like blankets and jackets for homeless people. Obviously it's wintertime. And actually all this stuff right here is stuff that my mama kept throughout the years of a whole bunch of my old clothes. And like these clothes are so outdated and so old, and a lot of them are honestly still fresh, you know what I mean? So like I'm not gonna wear them, so what's the best thing I can do with it? I mean, pass them out to people who in need. So I'm finna pass all the old clothes out to people in the community. You know, the boy gotta stay strapped. One Body Church blessed with a whole bunch of Bibles. You know, we gotta stay with work. I got a trunk full of Bibles, so those are just extra Bibles. And not only did they bless us with that, but because the first Friday's block party, One Body Church bought brand new sound equipment. All this right here, speakers for first Friday's block parties. Subwoofer, wireless mic. So man, that's love, that's blessing. And check this out too. I want y'all to see that this right here. I showed this before.
You need a coffee cup? Your daily coffee cup? Yeah, when we went to your mom's house. Remember, you made the coffee, remember?
Nah, but this is my real prison coffee cup.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So listen, this cup right here is my dog. I had this for years in the chain gang. My dog who did tattoos, like this is before I got fully wet. I said, bro, I want you to wet my cup up. You know what I mean? Just so it'd be sentimental. You know, so you got Galatians 2:20 on there. You know, the city skyline, got the cross right there. But, you know, years down the line, I was getting transferred to another prison. And in prison, you keep all your personal belongings like in the canteen bag. And it's literally like yay high. And, you know, somehow my coffee cup, I think, ended up on the bottom of it. And all my books and my paperwork was just smashing it. So it smashed. But I still didn't want to get rid of it, man, because it was sentimental. It meant a lot to me. And not only did I not get rid of it, but I still drank out of it. And it's funny because I used to put in like scoops of coffee at the bottom, and I used to only put in a little bit of water, so the water wouldn't come out the cracks. So I'm just drinking like little like espresso shots. So all day I'm drinking like a million of these little tiny like espresso shots. And it really, if anything, like probably made me more like of a caffeine fiend, because I'm like tweaking all day, drinking these strong caffeine, these coffee shots. But I took it home with me, and the reason why I took it home with me, as I've already said a million times, I'm just like a sentimental dude, man. Like objects mean a lot to me. So I kept this, and as you see, man, it's right next to my bed. Even though I don't sleep here, I sleep on the couch. I put it here because I used to sleep in my bed. I put it right here on my nightstand, so I can see it every day. And just remind me where I came from and where God delivered me from. In the book of in the book of Joshua, when the Lord used Joshua to lead Israel across the Jordan River, Yahweh commanded Joshua to tell the elders of Israel, like, yo, like whenever he parted the waters, yo, get them dry rocks, you know, from the Jordan River, and put them dry rocks up here on the land of Canaan. So when like the rest of the Israelites see these rocks, the generations to come, they're like, yo, what are these rocks for? And these rocks can be a testimony and a witness of what Yahweh did, of how he delivered them, how he parted the Red Seas, how he parted the Jordan River miraculously. So that coffee cup to me is a memorial stone. It's a testament of what God delivered me from. Whenever I took my son out, we did that, you know, Father Sunday, we went to the Smash Room, and I made it my business before we left, you know, all the objects that we smashed, I wanted to keep something just so I could remember like that experience with my son, and that being like a great bonding moment for us. The whole day was beautiful. So this smashed plate is just a symbolic representation of what that day was for me, and for that time of reestablishing my relationship with my son. So obviously I got to keep everything. Let's look at the papers. All right. Same thing, aggravated battery. Aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer.
Show me what is that.
Aggravated So, law enforcement officer. I really just want to show you with the bonds, and that's it.
Activated. Alright, got it.
Aggravated battery and $500,000 bond.
What a bond at?
$500,000 for an aggravated battery. Where have you ever heard of that at?
They really ain't want you out.
Aggravated battery on a Leo. $500,000 bond. So what's that? That's a mill right there?
Mm-hmm.
So we had a milli. And aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer. $500,000 bond. So that's $1.5 million. And I bonded out actually. I bonded out $150,000. And I'm like, come on.
Hey, listen, I'm like,
I'm gonna bond out with that, bro. I ain't gonna tell.
Where did that come from? Maybe you were a lot bigger than you saying.
Dun. Alright, read that. Here's a crash.
I didn't know they really map all that. Do it again, 2, and roll.
Yeah, man. So this right here. Welcome to the restart. So, anyways, as I was saying. Hey, these bloopers aren't even gonna be funny. They're not even gonna be funny.